Hello, I'm Aaron Matus with D1 Ticker and Collegiate Sports Connect. We are joined today by Kyle Moats, Missouri State Athletic Director, to talk a little bit about the FCS playoffs and the current landscape there. And Kyle, I guess I should mention, or I hate to mention, that last week you guys were bounced in the first round. I wish I could have written around that, but a tough game against UT Martin. But nonetheless, you have a pretty unique perspective on the whole ordeal. So I wanted to start by saying, was this a little bit less stressful of a fall, seeing that you're not the FCS Selection Committee Chair now?
Yeah, it probably was, Aaron, and thank you for having me. It was because, last year with the COVID situation was just so bizarre and different than what we were used to. So it forced us to think and do things completely different, and we weren't sure we were going to get it in. I think that was my biggest concern, was that we get to the playoffs and then we were going to have games canceled or people couldn't play. That was my biggest fear. Fortunately, that did not happen, and we all got to play. So that was a really good thing about it. But to answer your question, it was a little bit different this year, yes. And when we got to 8 wins, I really felt good and didn't have as much stress about getting into the championship. But then the stress became, whether or not we were going to get seeded.
Tell me about what you maybe learned during the process as chair that you could directly apply to running your program.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you have to play people, Aaron. I think that's really important. And again, we're in a conference at the Valley that we're going to get a lot of opportunities to play good teams. So unless you win your conference, obviously you get the automatic bid then. But I always look at it from a non-conference perspective, that I want to play teams that I think are going to be winning teams or have a chance for those teams to win their conference. And that means we're going to play a really, really tough schedule, because those non-conference games are going to be from good teams. But I think if you beat those teams and you have the opportunity to have a good schedule with teams you beat in the field that are potentially could be in the field, then I think your argument becomes a whole lot more legit.
Let me ask you something on maybe a grander scale here, and having been recently the chair, you might have a good viewpoint of this. How do you think the FCS landscape is changing right now, given what we're watching with realignment?
Yeah, another really good question. I think you're seeing conferences, split up, and won't get into specifics of those particular conferences, but certainly we have conferences that are being split up, and those opportunities for at-larges and those opportunities for those guaranteed spots kind of expand, right? So therefore it leaves less opportunities for conferences that may get multiple teams in. That's one factor of it. Two, you have some of your perennial powers, if you will, that may not be in FCS and are moving on to FBS, so that opens things up, I think, for some other teams that maybe haven't gotten in before, but it will change. And that's kind of what we are in intercollegiate athletics. We're ebb and flow, and things are going to change. And this is probably this particular time in our history of intercollegiate athletics. There's no more of a time that's changed than the time we're going through right now.
Do teams that maybe have never considered or maybe had it on the back burner of jumping to FBS have to really take a harder look at that now? Or is that something you can still safely keep on the back burner?
I think you always have to be, you have to understand the landscape, right? I think anybody that's going from FCS to FBS, that's a big jump. That's a really big jump. And you have to understand why you're going to make that move. And it's not just about athletics. We talk about this quite often. It's really about the third or fourth reason why you probably would do it, in my opinion, at least with the leadership that I have here on my campus. It really is more about the university. It's about enrollment. It's about point of pride and moving your profile or changing your profile, hoping in fundraising that those things increase. And then it's athletics. So that's how it is at our place as we look at it. I know when you're in an athletic-centered type of business, you probably look at it just from an athletic standpoint, but I don't think that's what the universities look at it, just like that.
Closer to home, for a long time, football struggled at Missouri State, and you guys had pretty successful men's and women's basketball and baseball, and those programs were very well supported. We're wondering, now that football's rolling a bit, just what are the financial implications for you guys, given that program has started to have some success?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I can tell you that, Aaron.
I bet.
It's really helped us from a lot of angles, not just financially, but it's given our folks hope, right? There's been, we've been, as you've indicated, we've been not great for the last 30 years. We've had our ups and downs in terms of some winning teams, but overall not made the playoffs. And it's just rejuvenated our community. And people now understand, and I've said this from day one since I've got here, because I was fortunate enough to be at two institutions that you did win in football and basketball, at Kentucky and Louisville, that it could be done. And I believed it can be done, always believed it could be done. And us winning now in football lets people know that it can be done. And so ticket sales are certainly much better than they have been. We released some sketches out a couple weeks ago about adding a south end zone football complex. Those are things that are real. Those are things that we can get done. And that's what makes it so exciting, is that our fans and our donors now want to contribute a little bit more towards football. So that really helps and really changes the profile of who we are as an institution.
Maybe it goes without saying, but I'm guessing that south end zone project is something you probably wait to ask for or wait to put on the table once you have some success. It's more possible once there's some more larger number in the win column.
Absolutely. Our last renovation to the stadium, we had a Bears fee when I first got here, and the students helped pay for that. But kind of ironic, and it's a good story. The last time we really made a change to the stadium was the upper level, and that was in 1989 and 1990. Well, that just so happens to be the last time we went to the playoffs. So we jumped on that opportunity then, so we're trying to jump on that opportunity now.
That lays it out pretty clear. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck with that south end zone project.
Aaron, thank you very much. Appreciate you having me.